Interesting.
Pick a pack of blossoms, get it from fresh days today. When your breakfast gets them waking in the morning. Blossom.
Whether spread on toast or frying eggs to a golden turn, Blossom Yellow Margarine tastes the way your family loves it. Light and fresh.
All the sandwiches you're making in the midday Blossom.
Give your busy, hungry family their sandwiches with Blossom. They can taste the farm-fresh flavors, good and healthy.
For your roast and baking in the evening Blossom.
When your family's at supper, they'll enjoy a roast with the touch of Blossom. They'll love it on their vegetables and spread on crisp, warm rolls. So give them all the farm-fresh taste of Blossom.
Blossom helps a busy mum. Make sure today you're choosing it, using it. Blossom. Blossom. Pick a pack of Blossom.
Pick a pack of Blossom.
Neither Dr. Macpherson nor I had the slightest doubt but that Mrs. Moore was innocent of the actual killing. But at this stage, everything pointed to the possibility that she was an accomplice to the murder. With the arrival of the photographers and the print men and the removal of the body to the police mortuary, the entire resources of the murder squad concentrated on solving the mystery. Carr?
Operations here, Inspector.
Yes, Ops.
Sidney Bransell, age 58, well thought of in the East London patch. Nothing known against him, sir. Bachelor, no immediate relatives. Parents died in Lithuania during the war, sir. Known to subscribe liberally to local charities, is known by his associates as the Spender. Owns and operates the Bransell Trading Company, Thames Walk, Millwall Docks.
Thanks, Ops. I want a tale put on his housekeeper, Jessica Moore. I want to know where she went last night, what time she got home, the lot.
Very good,
And
sir.
organize a vehicle. I'll go down to the trading company. Mr. Lane?
That's right, sir. You must be the gentleman from Scotland Yard, the one that telephoned.
I am. As I told you, I'd be grateful if no mention was made of this. The press will have it within an hour or two. Now, you said on the telephone that Mr. Bramsell left this warehouse at 5 o'clock.
That's right, sir, he did, yes.
Did he tell you where he was going?
No, just told me to make sure the place was locked up.
Who else works here?
Sadie Farmer, she's gone out to get some milk. She'll be back soon.
How long have you been working for Mr. Bramsell?
Ever since he opened this warehouse, just on 6 years.
And what happens here?
Well, we don't sell to the public. We have travellers on the road. They come in for their stocks, and out they go again.
I see they all come from Czechoslovakia.
Yes, that's right, sir. A lucky break for the boss. There's one of the largest toy factories in the world in Prague. Mr. Bramsell was their sole agent. Don't have much difficulty selling this stuff. Not too expensive, mass-produced.
Does your boss have any enemies?
Mr. Bramsell? Oh, I should hardly think so. He's been good to me. Good to his housekeeper, too. Her old man's still in jail.
How do you know that?
Well, she told me. She used to sometimes come around here with sandwiches and things, just before Christmas, you know. The rush. Things got pretty hectic there. Exactly.
So there you have it, Mac. The late Sidney Bramsell seems to have been a highly successful, good-natured, happy individual with not a care in the world. According to X-Branch, she was seen at the Silver Slipper, tripping the light fantastic from 8 to 11:30. We traced the taxi driver, who says that he dropped some young female at 21 Bradley Street, Stepney, and then proceeded to Bramsell's residence, arriving at about midnight.
Confirming what Mrs. Moore says.
Yes. I suppose someone could have taken a ladder to that rear window. We've had a sergeant questioning the occupants of the house facing Bramsell's. They seem highly respectable.
Yeah, nothing seems to have been taken unless, there seems to be a murder completely without motive.
Now look at these reports. 18 plainclothes men, 22 uniformed policemen. Not one has come up with a glimmer of a clue. No suspicious character seen anywhere near the house. No, it has to be Mrs. Moore. And yet...
And yet she's been mixing with criminals most of her life. Would she be fool enough to say that the chain was on the front door? Would she not go down the back and use the heel of her shoe to make false clues? Put some markings in the drain pipe, some mud, the soil on the window ledge, or...
I know, Mac, I know. It just doesn't add up. We questioned the girl he was with. Apparently, poor lonely Mr. Bramshaw belonged to something known as the Friendship Club. She got £10 for tripping the light fantastic with him. Can't see her even remotely connected with the murder. Why? How?
Hey, come, Carl. This is not like you. We don't know why, but we do know how. You were given a full report of the medical examination.
Yes, I know, Mac, I know. But when I say how, I didn't mean... I'd better have another word with Mrs. Moore. Mrs. Moore, I don't think you murdered your boss, and if you are an accomplice...
I'm not. Believe me.
No, I don't think you are. My colleague, Dr. McPherson, has given ample reasons why you shouldn't be suspected. But somebody got into this house. How? And you're the only person who might be able to tell us. Now, did you open the door to anyone at any time?
No.
What happened when your boss came home from work?
I don't know exactly. I went down to the fishmonger to get a piece of plate for my supper as the boss was going out.
I see.
When I gets back, he was in the parlour having a drink.
Oh, there you are, Mrs. Moore. You remember what I said as I was having dinner out?
Oh, yes, I remember, Mr. Bramsville. This is for me, for my supper. I'm sorry I wasn't here when you got home, but you're a bit early.
Yes, I got young Harry Lane to give me a lift in his Mini. I was in a hurry, and there were certain problems we had to talk about. Oh, well, get the bath running, will you? There's a good soul. I'm shaking the old light fantastic tonight. No, it's not shaking, it's tripping. You wait till you see her. Oh, I wouldn't mind taking a trip with her.
I ran his bathroom, and then I went and cooked my supper. I eat in the kitchen when I'm on my own. As I was eating it, he opened the door and said, "Well, I'm off." Bless his heart. You could smell that aftershave lotion a mile away.
And that's the last time you saw him alive?
Yeah. As I told you, I only heard him when he come in and put the chain on the lock.
Well, you should be grateful for that, Mrs. Moore. Otherwise... Never mind. Did you obey my instructions and check on your employer's belongings?
I went through everything in the house, checking everything. If something valuable was pinched, it must have been something that the spender had without my knowing it.
Well, I've been through his papers, and I don't think there was anything stolen. Except I noticed on his diary next to the telephone a mark which said F796D. Any idea what that could mean?
I saw it. I thought it was a number of a motor car. No idea.
Well, I'll be... The shaving lotion.
Shaving lotion?
Your boss shaved, didn't he? You talked about the lotion, but what about the razor? I've just realized that there was no razor in the bathroom. There was a brush, soap. What sort of razor did Mr. Bramsell use?
A cutthroat.
And it's no longer there. The poor chap had his throat cut with his own razor. I'm going to take that page from his diary with the numbers F796.
What do you think those numbers represent, Carl?
I don't know. I don't know. Could mean anything. Except right now I'm clutching at straws. There's one thing I do know. When the killer first entered that house, he didn't plan to murder.
What makes you say that?
Well, the very crudity of the killing, the missing razor demonstrated. Surely, had he planned the murder in advance, he would have made sure he would have the means to kill. You can't see him saying, well, I wonder if there's a razor about the place, particularly a cutthroat razor. No. Wait a minute.
You thought of something?
Yes. I remember seeing packing cases in the warehouse with similar numbers. I wonder...
What do you wonder?
Supposing the culprit was in the house searching for something.
Aye.
Supposing he hears Bramsell returning home. He nips into the bathroom, waits until his victim gets undressed, puts on his pajamas.
That's very different from your previous theory that Bramsell went into the bathroom first. No, he didn't. Of course.
What have you thought of, Mac?
Mrs. Moore kept going on about how heavy-handed her boss was with the aftershave lotion. She didn't exaggerate because when I examined him, which was hours after he'd shaved, I could still sniff traces of it.
Well?
Well, he was hardly likely to apply the lotion after he'd washed and cleaned his teeth just prior to going to bed. Now, that substantiates your theory that Bramsell never went into the bathroom.
And the man never went to the house in order to kill. He hid in the bathroom, probably hoped to make him his getaway. Seized the razor, probably, as Bramsell opens the bathroom door, killed him.
Aye, but aren't you forgetting one thing? The chain on the inside of the front door. Now, unless Mrs. Moore is covering up for the killer and she puts the chain on, how did he get out the house?
Easy, the window.
Aye, but we both agreed.
We agreed that no one could have scaled the drain pipe without leaving some telltale marks behind. It would have been a simple matter for the intruder to have jumped from the first floor without leaving any traces or hurting himself.
Aye, that's true. Mrs. Moore said he kept the window open in summer. He could have landed on the paving leading to the back door.
Or, if he did land on the flower bed, smooth it over, jump over the wall. I think I'll have another word with the people in Ross Avenue.
And there's frightful business, Inspector, frightful.
Well, we believe the killer made his getaway through this house. Is your back door leading to your garden kept locked?
No, it isn't. No one can get access to it unless... Oh, I see what you're getting at. Come to think of it, there was some soil in the hallway. I was blaming our cleaning woman for leaving it like that.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. But what about your front door? Is it bolted on the inside?
No, it's one of those self-locking jobs. What with 4 grown-up children...
Say no more, sir. Thank you very much.
What about the killer? Does it mean I must bolt and bar all my windows? I don't want the same thing to happen to me.
It won't. He'll be behind bars within the hour. Ah, Mr. Lane, just the man I want to see.
Oh, what can I do for you, Inspector?
These cases, all marked with the letter F. What are they?
Dolls, why?
What happened to case F796D?
Unpacked.
And the contents? Well, what happened to the contents?
Well, delivered to customers.
He found you out, didn't he? That's why you killed him. Slashed the poor man's throat with his own razor.
What about it?
I'm arresting you on suspicion of having murdered Sidney Bramsall, and I duly caution you that...
So the unsuspecting Sidney Bramsall was having his warehouse used as a clearinghouse for drugs, is that it?
That's right. The stuff would be placed inside the dolls. An ordinary consignment of dolls would contain one case specially marked, so that Lane would be able to remove the dolls and hand them over to the drug ring. Apparently some glamorous young female persuaded him to start smuggling, and by then he was hooked. Poor old Bramsall didn't die in vain, though. Our narcotics boys will have smashed the biggest drug ring since Snowy Phillips.
To kill in such a clumsy, brutal fashion. How did he get access to the place? We know how he got out.
Oh, it's simple. A piece of soap. While his boss was otherwise engaged, he took an impression and had a key cut. Funnily enough, what he couldn't take an impression of was Bramsall's safe. Only he knew the combination, and he kept a record of it at home. In the safe was the doll that was to be handed over to the police. He warned Lane that he would have to do this. Luckily for us, the young man lost his head when I first questioned him. He was so busy dissociating himself from his boss's activities that he told a very stupid lie. Well, listeners, did you notice Lane's stupid lie? A lie that was to cause me to link the number on the telephone diary with the possibilities of his being the killer? Not sure? Then listen to the commercial, and I'll be back to tell you.
Pick a pack of blossoms, get it from fresh taste today. When your breakfast gets them waking in the morning. Blossom. For the sandwiches you're making in the midday blossom. For your roast and baking in the evening blossom. Pick a pack of blossom.
Blossom Yellow Margarine.
Pick a pack of blossom.
For sandwiches that burst with health and farm-fresh taste.
Pick a pack of blossom.
For frying eggs to a golden turn. For dabbing on your vegetables, carrots, peas, potatoes.
Pick a pack of blossom.
For baking and roasting and spreading on crisp, warm rolls. And satisfying your family with its farm-fresh taste.
Blossom helps a busy mum. Make sure today you're choosing it, using it. Blossom. Blossom. Pick a pack of blossom.
Pick a pack of Blossom.
Well, listeners, once again, a demonstration that sometimes it's the silly, unbelievably foolish little mistake that unravels some of the most bewildering murder mysteries. If you remember, you said that Mr. Bramsall left this warehouse at 5 o'clock. Did he tell you where he was going?
No. Just told me to make sure the place was locked up.
And yet Mrs. Moore told us that when she arrived back at the house after shopping for her supper...
I'm sorry I wasn't here when you got home, but you're a bit early.
Yes, I got Harry Lane to give me a lift in his Mini. I was in a hurry, and there were certain problems we had to talk about.
The problems, of course, referring to Bramsall's discovery that he was an innocent importer of drugs. Despite his full confession as to killing his employer, but pleading that he wasn't responsible for his actions, Lane was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. But before the trial took place, the Narcotics Bureau had swooped on various so-called toy shops, but which were, in effect, drug-pushing centers. 14 of these despicable peddlers were put behind bars. Good night.